We set the trends in the script.
You are, you have been, you will be under the groove.
Snip this glue, get in the zone, because we got to go do something. So that's what we did. And I'm going to be honest with you, I used to like it. You got people from the east and the west and different places, you know, to come over and groove with us.
Was Hoover grooving some part of Hoover? You know, never met a Hoover groove.
Never met
Me and you was never in my life. But
A part of what was called the Bonzella Crips.
Hoovers ain't starting no Hoover Crips. And we hit that hand moving on you, walking in your house.
Wait, do that again.
Hit that hand moving on you, that messed up your whole party. You are, you have been, you will be under the groove.
Trey, 4, 7-11, the Deuce, and the 9. Hoover head coach enthusiasts, Hoover Knights, the Hoover Collective, and to the people. Look, man, the summer is hot and we're outside again with the Payback Crips. So y'all know we're on track with this get back. Today we have OG Taco, Lucky, and Niid the Rider. They're here, man, to share with everyone their relationship with Hoover, Hoover's relationship with them, and how our history and experiences have fomented this bond we're going to be speaking on today. Look, man, Under the Groove is honored, and we're appreciative, man, to have you brothers here, man. So let's get into this dialogue with the West Side Payback Crips, man. I want to start off, man, with OG Taco. You know, and I just met him recently, man. You know what, about a month ago? Yeah, about a month ago. Heard the name, man. You know what I'm saying? And finally, man, I was, you know, honored and privileged enough to meet this brother at a get down that he had put together, man. Let me start with this, man. You let people know who you are first off, man. You know what I'm saying? Me saying is different than you saying. You saying is different than me saying it. Let the people know who you are, man.
My name is Taco. I'm from Payback Crip, based in Gardena, California. I want to say thank you for the invitation, for the invite. I've been watching a few of your podcasts, and I think you're doing a great job in getting the communication out there for folks to know who's who, who's in alignment, more positive stuff than it is. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that coming from you, man. I know the people will as well. I want to start off, you know, you don't have to say, but what's your age, brother?
I'm 58.
All right. There you go, man. Brother 58, man. So my first question to you is, when you come off the porch, man? How'd that happen?
Well, I came off the porch probably in 76, where I was hearing about cripping and knowing about cripping. Didn't really have the means to like just walk up and just go get put on.
Yeah.
So my peer group allowed me to know that they had older brothers that was already cripping. They was already gangbanging. And through going to visit my peers, in particular, my homie Truck, rest in peace, he had an older brother that was a Crip, and I took interest in that. And so being that we were too young to kind of run with their age group, we decided to kind of like, we're going to be Crips, but it's going to be amongst us in our peer group. And
in the background. So
in the background.
Yeah.
So a lot of us, we were more familiar with West Side Crips because that was the brand initially. And, you know, as Payback Crips was developing, we took on that as part of being the family.
Okay. So West Side Crips was your first knowledge.
My first knowledge,
of
knowing what Crips were through Barefoot Pookie, rest in peace.
Right.
Tookie, you know, and just knowing about West Side Crips and what was out there. But again, my staple came from Big Slim. Right. And knowing that, you know, that the Payback brand was out there. And there's other big homies, Big Fear. I can't name all of them, Riff Raff, all that. Yeah. But Slim was kind of like the icon for the set. Right. Where he was handed the baton from Pook and took off with it. And once that name got out there, it's like, all right, this is what we are.
Got you. And just so the people know, man, this is not who were trying to speak on payback history, you know, and in their origins and shit. You know, these are our brothers, man. You know, we like hand in glove, man. You know, you spoke about Pook. You know, Pook is the originator.
Yeah.
Of Payback. Is that correct?
Yeah. Pook is he is the founder of Paybacks and a few other different sets on the West Side.
That's right.
Let me see. The best way I could put it in an analogy is like when a father births a child, but then goes off and go do something else, and then Big Slim had to come in there and play.
Pook was Rolling Stone.
Yeah, he was Rolling Stone. Yeah. So to the point, so to where he started Payback, but he was more identified as a West Side Crip than he was a Payback Crip. And again, so Slim kind of took the ball, ran with it, you know, put things in order, and kind of like it again took off from there.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Slim couldn't be here today. You know, he was lined up for this get down, man. I would love to have had him, but so Slim took the baton, and did what he did with it and shit. And so, how did you end up meeting? Well, you come off the porch, you and the young homies, y'all was in the background doing y'all thing, unbeknownst to the homies that this is what y'all do. Y'all represent this too, right?
Right.
All right. Who'd you run with back then? Who was that? If it's all right to ask you that.
Yeah. So the homie Truck, Niid, Termite, Ink Spot. I mean, it's a long list of homies. I don't want to leave nobody out, so they can, you know, feel some kind of way. But to be honest, homie, I was a little bit more advanced for my age, so I ran with Big Slim and a lot of older homies, to where homies thought that, you know, I was in that category. So what was happening was that I came from a place of domestic violence in my home.
Yes, sir.
So that kind of catapulted me. I wanted to
off
be in the
porch.
streets more.
That man, I love how you express that.
So I wanted to be a part of something that was bigger than what was going on in the house, because to be honest, I want to have some type of get back towards my stepfather, and so it kept me out there a little bit more than the average homie. So when they was going in, I was still hanging out, and I might be hanging out with an older homie and smoking angel dust and just getting it in, because I didn't want to go home, because it wasn't a cool place for me to be, and I didn't like it, and I didn't like the fact that I couldn't do nothing. So all the while I'm out there, I'm really finding or trying to find ways how I can, you know, if I do go home and things go haywire with somebody doing something to moms, I was gonna have, you know, a response for that. So it kept me out in the street a little bit longer, and so I ended up going to juvenile hall before all my peer group, and, you know, again, just a little bit more advanced than a lot of homies my age. So even though I came off the porch, you know, and when it was time for them to go in, or all of us to go in, I didn't go in. I just kind of stayed out and kind of all the stuff in jail and, you know, juvenile hall, camp, all that kind of stuff.
That's interesting, man, because normally when I interview brothers, man, I ask them what brought them off the porch. And what you said, man, is another factor in terms of what those things are, or those situations are. You know, you didn't have no money house, you want to get out and hustle, you know, a female, you know what I mean? It could just be your dog. I was in the street. Domestic violence in the house is also one of those things that would bring us off the porch. You know, like you said, you wanted to be away from that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's just something to think about. It's crazy you said it, because I've thought about that. You know, that's one of the things for me. It's similar. It was similar, man. So, you know, just hearing you say that, man, I appreciate that, man. And I know a lot of other brothers gonna understand where you're coming from with that statement. So you started out, man, you Truck, Ink Spot, a few other heads,
all of it.
Niid, you know what I'm saying? Y'all start doing y'all thing.
Yeah, we started doing our thing, more so elementary school, segue towards junior high. So
what elementary school did you go?
135th Street School.
Right.
So 135th Street School sits between Vermont and Hoover.
Right.
So if they had 2 yards, they had a big yard and a little yard. So the little yard was like 1st to 3rd grade, something like that. But and then the big yard is over on the other side. So the little yard is on Hoover. You see Hoover Street. And so we remember the days where dudes, you know, whether it was active gang members and they running with big homies and they driving up and down Hoover, because we called it Hoover Hill. Because in our hood, Hoover Street is on the hill.
Yeah, I hear you.
So we would see the homies drive by in the car and they doing the Hoover sign, what we thought was, you know, to
Yeah,
represent
that get out.
Yeah. So we would see that, and then so we were aware of the Crips, and then by the time we got to the big yard, then we knew what Crippins was. These sets had developed, and then more so when we got to Henry Clay, we everybody was already branded on where they was from.
Right. So you went from 135th Street School to Henry Clay was your first junior high school.
Yeah.
And what was that like? Did you and your boys follow you? Y'all
yeah. We all went to Henry Clay. And again, it exposed us to all these different hoods that went to Henry Clay.
Right.
Because initially, like 135th, that was just all paybacks. Nobody else went there. But as we segued to junior high, then we started meeting the different LA gangs, that was around. We heard about them, but this is like our first interaction. We young, we 12, 13 years old, and knowing and seeing their version of cripping and what ours was like. So we were kind of like not necessarily in competition, but at the same time trying to figure out what is the brand of cripping. And it was just so many facets of it.
Right. All right. I get that part for sure. So y'all hit Henry Clay from 135th. And like you just said, y'all ran and y'all start meeting these other cats. You know what I mean?
Right.
And at this time, I take it you full-fledged. You pay back now.
Yeah, full-fledged. So much so to where it was a time in the 70s where the culture of I guess being trendy was to have your left ear pierced. And it didn't have anything, to my knowledge, anything to do with cripping, but it was kind of like simultaneously this was happening. Crips was getting their ear pierced, but also non-Crip members. And just so happened one day, my mother, she was fascinated by the trend and actually offered to pierce my ear.
To hook you up.
Yeah, to hook me up. Yeah, with the needle and thread. So, and
ice cream, did she numb it first?
Yeah, put the ice on it, and then a clothespin on there.
Yeah.
And she numb me up. But all the while she doing, I'm thinking in my 12, 13-year-old mind, mom's is giving me affirmation to be a Crip.
She introducing you to
that. Yeah. Well, she not
took
knowing.
Your hand
and
I'm gonna walk you on up in this.
You official now. So when you go out, So I wore the thread for a couple of days, and some black thread, and homies was like, wow, because I was probably one of the first homies to get their ear pierced at that young. And then so that within itself just kind of gave me a booster shot and made me feel like mom's was with it. So, I'm on.
All in.
I'm all in.
All in, man. Imagine that, man. So I could see that though, and I wasn't there. I could see that you walking up with this black string in your ear, and dudes was like, "Hey, man, they want to touch up. Who did that? Do mine.
Yeah.
Can you do mine? I can see that, man. All right, so you had Henry Clay, man. You up in there, man, with you and your boys, man. And I'm pretty sure, man. Like I said, again, I can imagine some of the shit you're talking about. You running into these other cats, man, dudes you're meeting now. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure you may, well, I'm not sure, but you may have relationships to this day. With these individuals, man. Who were some of the heads you ran into that you recall?
Yeah, so there was again so many different sets that was there, and we had knew about the different sets because our origins come from LA, come from the West Side, and the big homies, there was still that gap because there was that age gap. So we didn't hang around them all the time. So we didn't know who was allies, who was enemies, who was, and during that time, we didn't have Crip enemies, put it that way.
There you go.
Our enemies didn't consist of the people that we were going, even though we was at school with them or whatever, and they was pushing their brand and we was pushing ours. We didn't necessarily see them as enemies, but we didn't necessarily see them as allies. We was more accustomed to the allies that we were frequent with. So for us, it was the shotguns because they right down the street from us. But older homies, Slim, Barefoot Poop, they had homies from all over the West Side. There was 111s, Raymond's, Blocks, UGs, all of them.
You name it.
And they was all, allies.
Brothers.
For the most part.
Yeah.
And so when we went to school, again, we would hear about, they from over there. But my one particular instance of meeting somebody that I knew from Hoover Crip, and I'll never forget, is Chopper from 107. So me and Chopper, we clicked off real well in junior high. Again, there was other sets there. There was, too many to name, put it that way.
Right.
But they was there, and everybody kind of like had their own, but we wasn't separated to where like you don't eat lunch with them, or you don't hang out with them, or you don't smoke weed with them, or whatever. It was just like everybody just hung out with their own peer group.
Yeah,
you know. So the school was Henry Clay is in the Harvard Gangsters, so they kind of like patrolled the whole school, and like they knew if you was going home that way, you was from over there, and you was coming home that way, you was from over there. So they kind of like was the vanguard of like who gets to determine who gets to go to the school, or who gets to get banged on, or
the gatekeepers, so to speak.
Yeah, who lunch money they gonna take, and who they not. So
who they gonna pocket check.
So I think that might have had a role in, and this is at a junior high level, but that had a role in determining who was gonna go to school there. You know, folks went home and said, "Man, I can't go to that school, mama." Right? Did they drop out? Did they go to another school? Did they go to the Valley? Did they end up joining another gang as a result of that? But that was essential when we went to school, that we knew that there would be other sets there. And again, we young kids, so we just not developing, you know, the stages of what cripping is. So it's still kind of loose, you know, as to who was from where and how long they would be from there. Because some people would eventually change sets or whatever.
There were certain factors that would determine that. Yeah, no doubt about that. No doubt about that. Now I'm gonna jump over here to Luck, man. And I'm gonna ask Luck. Okay, man, listen, let people know. Go and tell them who you are, brother.
My name Lucky, from Payback. Been from Payback since I was 12. Shit. Been bad since a little kid. Got caught up once I started being from the set. That turned into like an everyday thing, right?
Yeah.
It just ain't never stopped, you know what I mean, until I went to jail or whatever. Then as far as like the homies, the relationships with the Hoovers I had, it's always been like a natural.
Well, let's slow down, cause I want to get, you said you've been bad since you've been 12. I need to know what transpired, man. How'd you come off the porch? What happened? What brought that about?
I stayed down. I didn't stay in the hood. I stayed down on the laundry off of Vermont.
All right.
And then by me, Clown stayed on the laundry in Vermont. So he was like the big Debo bully always. When I'm walking by for school while I'm little going home and all that. So I used to hang with him down there before I was even from the hood when I was like 10. Him, Little Fear, all that. But when they would go to the hood, since I was so young then, I would go home, they would go to the hood. They wouldn't take me there yet, but around when the time I turned 12, getting off school from continuation one day, that's when I see Clown. He dragged me somewhere to a house. He see me getting off the bus. He's like, come on. I get over there. I'm just following along with him. Little Fat Rat, Big Papa Blue, rest in peace. And G-Love was over there. So we all piled in Fat Rat car. I don't know where we going. I with Clown. I don't even know them yet. This is my first day. I'm just with them. I know they homies. I know who they is, where they from, all that. But I'm just with Clown. So I'm 12 years old. Take me over drive me on the phone beyond elementary school. Little Termite, rest in peace, and Little Insane put me on in the alley, right by the apartments, first right off the alley, right off Vermont.
So you got jumped in.
I got jumped in.
And I meant that. Well, I didn't mean to ask you that because I didn't picture that with you. That didn't happen with you.
Nah.
Yeah. Okay, so you got jumped in.
Fight. I fought little Termite and Lil Insane at the same time for about 5 minutes. We tussled.
Was that day one off the porch?
Yeah, that was the first day when he seen me getting off the bus for school. Like I say, I used to just hang with Clown and Fear.
Yeah.
They hadn't brought me to the set yet. When they first seen me and had me hanging with them, because I was only like 10. So we were only hanging like Clown out. Okay. They like beat me up, play the little big brother thing on the hang and all that stuff. We'd go places, but never to the hood. When they would go to the hood, then I'd go home or around the block with some other niggas used to hang out.
Got you.
That stayed over in the area. So as far as when I was around 12, about 2 years after I had already been hanging with them, that's when they got me in the car, took me in the hood, took me on the phone, to put on. I never tried to refuse it. What's this? Those type of stuff. Driving around in the car, Big Papa Blue, that's who gave me my name. I always like to mention that to people.
Well, why'd he call you Lucky? What brought that
He was
about?
trying to figure out. He said, "What should we call on me while we driving around?"
Yeah.
Minutes after they put me on, I'm just sitting there silent, and he like thinking. He tossing names out there, saying it out loud, looking in the air. When he said Lucky, he started repeating it about 4 times. He's like Lucky, Lucky, and he kept saying it. He's like Lucky, Lucky. He said, "That's your name, Lucky."
Lucky.
And it's been my name since.
Yeah.
It ain't been no little Lucky.
You've been lucky ever since, huh?
I've been only Lucky. Like ain't no littles, none of that. If you hear Lucky, it's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it won't,
So what was your? Let me jump in here. What was your experience like? So they, you got jumped in, man, at 12.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That's how you come off the porch. You know what I'm saying? Based on your experience, it was dealing with the homies. That's what really brought you off the porch. All right. Did you go to Henry Clay? What elementary did you go to? What school you attend?
My first elementary was in the Shotguns. My mom's her first and only house.
Yeah.
We lived in the Shotguns on 134th off Van Ness.
All right.
It's the first and only house she had. I went to Percy with all the Shotguns my age and all that little stuff. So I was exposed to them. I knew about them, but moms didn't keep the house long enough. We would go to Raleigh Park, play baseball at Raleigh Park, all that little stuff. When she lost the house, that's when she ended up moving and getting an apartment on Alondra and Menlo, which exposed me to Clown.
It's safe to say
elementary was like Percy. Then from like Percy, I went to I got kicked out of there, went to a military school. My mom was trying to stop me from being in trouble, all that little shit. After the military school, went to Perry, kicked out of Perry. Went to Henry Clay, got kicked out in like 3 weeks. But while I was at Henry Clay, I wasn't from the hood yet. I was just a little bad kid.
Right.
So I was around and knew who all the individuals, but I wasn't from the hood yet, like where I was in a circle associating with like certain people yet. Gotcha. So I'm still like around 10, 11-ish. So I get kicked out of there. I'm getting kicked out of everywhere I go until I go to continuation. And from there, it's the YA's camp, all that stuff started. But before the YA and all that stuff, like I say, while I was 12, was the day when I met Clown. From there, it led to like camp and all that other shit.
So it's safe to say, had moms not left that situation, the home you guys were in, you'd have probably been a shotgun crip. I don't know.
About 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Because all them I know.
Yeah.
We all went to elementary, like the ones my age.
Yeah. So then you end up at Henry Clay also.
I ended up at Henry Clay.
You and Clown, little Clown.
I didn't go to Henry. I didn't go to Henry Clay with no homies. Like I say, by the time I was there, I was just a bad kid that lived in Gardena. I didn't know no direct individuals.
All right, Clown
and Little Fear was the first individuals in regards to some gang shit that I knew.
All right, gotcha.
But until then, I was always around. I knew the names. I knew the gangs. I was just a bad kid fucking up and getting kicked out of schools along the way. Before I start, actually being from the set at 12. So Henry Clay didn't last for nothing but for about 3 weeks to a month. Never stayed there.
Yeah, right after that was a short term, right?
Right after the first class, whatever the first class homeroom, we would ditch and go to the dips.
Double dips
every day and hang out in the dips. Police chasing all that stuff back then. How the dips used to be. That's where everybody would run the ditch.
And I don't think a lot of people actually remember. You had to been around back in the day to know double dips, man.
That's right.
Because everybody somebody went up there sometime or another.
Dirt bikes up there.
Yeah, man, for real. Take bikes. And shit, I remember back in the day, the white boys was up there deep, deep as hell on all the good shit.
Right.
The mongooses and all that.
The different local gangs, all the soft floats and all that. When they was young and different gangs, the ones that would ditch is piles of people. Putting people on every day while they little.
Hanging out at the dip doing that shit.
Put on, all the little bad people that was hanging out ditching and doing that. That was like the hangout. So Henry Clay was done with me in about 3 weeks to a month. When I bounced around school to school until I ended up getting caught up and going to camp and all that little stuff.
So at this time, had you met Taco or Niid? Did you know him at the time?
At 12, before the camp and stuff started, I hadn't
ran into him. I hadn't got to him yet.
I was meeting everybody along the way because I was always there, but I wouldn't, I'm 12.
Got you.
So it's like, I had to sneak out when whenever I can and kind of get home early.
Yeah, I can imagine
all
you
that.
having to sneak out because you went to military school. I was playing with you, man.
Yeah, mom couldn't afford that, so I'm back in
Yeah.
public school. That's when all the bullshit started happening.
All right.
So once the exposure happened, you know, being that Clown and Fear was the first ones I knew and I'd been around. I kind of used to wait around for them until I would come to the hood.
Got you.
So it's like whenever they was going to them, I'm going to
That's
the
when
hood
you're
with
going,
them.
yeah. You're going
And
with them.
once I started coming and being around everybody and soaking up, watching and being around my older homies, because I was one of the youngest ones. Wasn't nobody under us at that time.
And I didn't ask you, what's your age?
I'm 48.
All right, yeah, you shit, you're young, you baby.
Yeah, I'm 48.
Yeah. But I take it that you being here says a lot about how these brothers see you,
right?
In terms of your get down,
right?
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's an honor to meet you. You got to understand, it's an honor for you. It should be that they brought you along.
It is.
That says a whole lot. That says a whole lot about you.
It's off top.
Said a whole lot.
They know. They know what it. You know.
Yeah.
They know.
All right, man. I'm headed over to this other OG, man. It's your turn.
Okay.
This is Niid, the rider. Man, go on. Let the people know what it is, man.
I'm Big Niid from Westside Vermont Gang, Payback Crip.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So when did it happen for you? What started it? What brought you off the porch?
Okay,
bro?
So my situation might be a little different from everybody else. Mom's had me at 14.
Mm-hmm.
We stayed on 43rd in Hoover.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to see a whole bunch of shit going on down there, sort of wild. So one day I came home and told Moms, I said, I want to get chased by the police. She looked at me real hard and said, oh no, we out of here. And she moved to Gardena.
Wait a minute. You want to get chased by the police?
I wanted to get chased by the police. I seen a few individuals fighting the police out there. And I was like, Mom, how they whooping the police? She said, they ain't no Superman, they regular people. And I was like, whoa, I want to get chased by the police.
The police wasn't Superman.
Yeah.
They just regular people.
Right. They pulled down the street. I seen it. I'm looking, I'm a kid. And a couple of dudes was outside. And the police said something to them. They would take the badge off, whatever it was.
Right,
and they
right.
did. Black police did. And the dude was getting off on them. And I just came home. My mother grabbed me, pulled me in the house. And I just told her the next day I wanted to get chased by the police because I kept seeing all them running from the police.
What was your age at the time, bro?
I was probably about 4 years old. About 4 to 5 years old.
At a young age, you ingrained. You seeing some shit already.
A lot of shit. You know, there's a lot going on down in the police back then too. Also.
Yeah.
So she said, "Oh no, we out of here." And about a year later, or whatever it was, she moved to Gardena. I was 6 years old.
Where about Gardena?
139 Vermont. I went for Hoover. So I already knew about the Hoover thing. You know what I'm saying? Cause we on 43rd and Hoover. So now we move 139th and Hoover.
Yeah.
So so it went from there. I went to 135th. I started seeing, like he said, we starting to see certain shit going up and down Hoover, seeing the homies striking up. Some of my homies getting into it, went to 135s, the older dudes. So it's sort of infatuated what we were seeing.
Yeah.
My homies ducking, hiding behind cars, some striking up, some running down the street with the gauge and everything else.
Yeah.
So, you know, just looking at being a youngster. Yeah. So as time went on, I didn't go to Clay, I went to Perry. I was crying, I was mad, I was hot. You know what I'm saying? My mother said, no, by the time when you get to Gardena, you'll be able to meet with all your other homies again. Y'all be there again. I was mad. The homies talking to them, clowning, joking about Perry, because Perry had a little name by itself back then.
Yeah.
And so I was mad.
Well, Perry was a soft school.
Yeah,
so
Scary Perry. They used to call it Scary Perry. But you got some of the downest homies from our set or from the gun that came from Perry, that came out of Perry. Right. You got some real motherfuckers that came from there though, too, at the same time. But it wasn't as advanced as Henry Clay was. So when getting to the Perry Junior High, you know, we dealing with more red rags, 135s and all this whole type of stuff. Our homies is going at it. The zone rats is there, you know what I'm saying? Shotguns, couple of rain sprinkled through, 111s, you know, a few people that didn't go to Henry Clay. You feel what I'm saying? So as Crips, we all came together back then. So I already understood how to come together then, because it was a lot of them. It was a lot of them coming bust to Perry Junior High. So we graduated, ended up going to Gardena, and then that's when we all met up again.
I want to bring you back, man, to that point or that place in time when you came off the porch. I don't know if you're saying it was that incident with the police. You know, is there? Can you recall?
Just seeing all this, you know, just being involved. I guess I don't know if it was Menlo Avenue School or somewhere, some little elementary over there. You know, having little knife fights, just thinking I'm tough, rough. You know what I'm saying? She's seeing this. You know what I'm saying? And then I come home with the, you know, with the bullshit. When I said what I said to her, you know what I'm saying? Mom, I want to get chased by the police.
You was 5 or 6 though.
Yeah. But we are, just at that school, it was active. That little elementary school was active over there.
Gotcha.
And just the things, I'm coming home, hand cut. I done cut somebody, a little stuff like that there. Nobody really know. I think I had a what's a fingernail clip or something. Somebody pulled out a plastic knife and I pulled out the fingernail clip or the thing that you
the little
right. So when we in there doing this whole type of shit, last day of school type stuff. So boom, that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? But at that time, my cousin them staying on 59th 2nd Ave and 6th. So I'm seeing a lot of that going on in the in late 70s. So I'm seeing them mounting up, blue rags, going to the Uncle Jam and everything else.
Yeah.
My other cousin staying in shotgun. So I'm seeing them at the Raleigh Park as I'm playing at the park. You feel what I'm saying? I'm seeing how the shotguns pushing and doing their thing. My grandmother stay on 47 and Figueroa, so I'm seeing the 5 Deuces doing their thing.
You're right. And this is early, man.
This is early. But so I'm looking, I'm 11, 12, I'm looking at all this shit.
Your
so I'm
contact,
gonna take what I've
man,
experienced.
You didn't name 5 different sets that you've been exposed to back then, at that age, and that's still a connection, though you're not from there. You knew individuals from there.
Comfortable
that's
over
a connection.
there. Right.
That's crazy.
So after that, when going through that, I said what I saw, even in Fudgetown, my stepfather stayed in Fudgetown. You know what I'm saying? So that was another little thing in Watts. You know what I'm saying? That was really the only east side part of town I was seeing.
That you want,
Right. So I took all that and let it come in, and I said, I'm going to bring this to the Dana. You feel what I'm saying? My mentality when I get older. That's where that rider come in at.
All right. And then so you became Payback at what age?
Probably we'll say 13, 14.
13, 14.
Full-fledged, and I'm gonna say 15.
So like Lucky, was you jumped in or
no, I wasn't.
All right.
No.
All right. How did that come about?
We talking
then?
all us. We probably was playing, jump in, bodying each other up.
Yeah,
shit. I go body all day right
going
now.
Chess and
all,
shit.
all that. We just playing body and everything. If you come up out the square with 2-on-1, 3-on-1, on the sidewalk, whoever
step off the curb,
whoever knock off the square off the little lines or something, you lost, you out, then switch over. So we get on top, we get on truck. Then we get on me. So all the time we growing up able to squabble 1 or 2 homies or anybody at the time. Yeah.
So you come up with top.
Real close. We real close.
There you go.
Then they're big wheels.
There you go.
Still here today.
You still here, bro.
Right.
Y'all still here, man. That's a blessing. So listen, man, that's fascinating, man, just to hear your migration,
right,
so to speak.
Right.
You know what I mean? A little bit of everybody.
Right.
You know, so I can understand how your cripping is the way it is. It's you know what I mean? You have to admit that you seen a little something from everybody and you took from that whatever you decide, you know, and made it your own. So man, that I can appreciate that story, man.
Okay.
So you come up with Talk, man, and
come up with Talk. Talk was more advanced than a lot of us, like you said. Him and Chuck had older brothers. I didn't. My mother had me young, so it's just me. I had to follow suit. I'm just not had to. I'm just looking and seeing what they doing because they was advanced, introducing me to different things, to drink, to smoke, the girls, and everything.
The hustle, anything that mattered.
All that.
Anything that mattered. Right. Yeah. So you hit Henry Clay?
No, I never hit Henry Clay. I went to Perry.
Junior high, you went to?
I went to Perry Junior High.
You did mention that. Yeah, Perry. Scary Perry.
Yeah.
You graduated from that motherfucker?
No, I didn't. But I was transferred to Gardena.
Yeah, all right.
Right.
Gardena, all right.
Got to Gardena, getting kicked out of there. Continuation with the Noah Bond and all the other stuff. So I was already with all the business. Basically what Miles was saying is, I don't want you to go to all black Spanish school right now at this age. I want you to understand other races too.
All right.
That was her reason.
All right.
Her purpose of me doing it. So now that when I did get up to Gardena, I didn't look at every white man, every Asian like they was rich or prejudiced and everything else. So I had a better understanding on it where some of them was sort of stuck. I ain't fucking with him. I'm not doing that with him because it was a different race. So it did help me be advanced when it did time to come work, school, whatever it was. Right. I don't look at the white man or the Asians or the other races too much different because I seen them being poor, not just everybody rich. It's like we would think if you just grew up in a black and Spanish environment.
The struggle existed. It was real with whoever.
Right. So that's pretty much what happened. Yeah. All right. Clay used to come up to Perry. The homies would come up there, the shotguns, 11 Deuce Hoovers, and the homies from Payback. You know what I'm saying? They'll come up there, run off a trip with the enemies up there. That's what I'm saying. They'll support the cause and everything else. They was coming up there a little bit more deeper than us. Perry, they had a little bit more moves. You know what I'm saying?
I can dig that.
Right. So they'll come up there and support the cause. and we got to deal with it afterwards.
Yeah, I recall going to John Muir. When for 7th grade, I got kicked out of Bethune. Full of brims.
So you understand?
Full of brims,
right?
You know, and it's like, okay, well, yeah. Mom's like, well, you staying in that school? I'm like, all right, fuck it. You know, it was situations. So yeah, and through over time, you know what I mean? We, you know, stayed on that square, you know, whatnot. Yeah, yours is interesting, man. It's real interesting. I think that, you know, you got a whole lot more. You know, you loosen up a little bit. You're gonna give us a whole. You're gonna give a crock full of shit. I want to get back to Taco, man. So, Henry Clay, you went through all that, man. You met all these individuals, man. You know, from somewhere everywhere, man. You know, that was an experience. I imagine. You know, like Niid to say, man. Going different places, different people, you know, it kind of builds you up. It you know, it helps you to develop.
Right.
So your development, you know, I assume was a part of these introductions. You know, these occurrences where you meeting people. You know, help develop you as this individual. What was your first experience with a Hoover, if you can call that?
Yeah, because we talking about years and years ago. Again, it was Chopper, me and Chopper going to Henry Clay.
All right.
And again, just, you know, just bonding. We would eventually end up getting a job at McDonald's on El Segundo and Western.
You worked at Mickey D's.
I worked at McDonald's. Me and Chopper, I think we both lied on our applications. We might have been 14 by then. And
wait a minute. That child slave labor and shit. You were 14 at Mickey D's?
But we lied on our applications.
Yeah, I got
because we wanted some bread and we wanted, you know, to have some money. So I think that was the first encounter as far as like having a friend from Hoover. I think another encounter was with one of my homegirls. She went with Andre Ransom.
Okay.
And so again, young.
That Devil from the 70s.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Devil rest in peace. And one day she invited him over to come see her. And so she lived like in the heart of the hood. And he came over, but he brought about 100 homies with him. So, you know, they walking through the set, and, you know, we was kind of curious at who it was. So they made their intros or whatever. He might have been about 2 or 3 years older than me. But it was enlightening to see, you know, the uniformity amongst them, how they would, you know, and it pretty much looked like he was the leader of the pack.
That impressed you?
Yeah. As a teenager, I was impressed that he had that camaraderie, for one, that he had enough homies that would walk from 107th to 138th.
Gardena.
Yeah. With open arms, you know, and the mere fact that he was just going to see her, and you know, he that was impressive to me. And again, you know, other homies, Slim, his alliance with the Hoovers would introduce me to different Hoovers, whatever. And again, just kind of like made it like a staple understanding amongst us that you know, we all get along, that these are our allies. Not to mention the fact that Holeray lived in the hood.
No shit, you know, now.
Right there.
All right.
So it's like it was just common to where, you know, it's just a household name, you know, for us. It's like, you know.
When did you meet Holeray?
I met Holeray probably doing Henry Clay, because he has a niece that's a little bit younger than me, but she went to Henry Clay, and then he has a brother that might be a year older than me, and again, so we went to Henry Clay. You know, when you walk into school, you kind of drop each other off, kind of like in a car. You're gonna walk down this street. All right, I'll catch you tomorrow.
Right.
So knowing, you know, Holeray through his family, knowing all of his family actually, and then again, but knowing that he's from Hoover, even though he lived in our hood, we knew that they was from Hoover.
Yeah. With that chance encounter when you saw Devil walking up the street, all these heads, did you get to talk to him? Did y'all?
Yeah, there was an introduction, because we was asking the homegirl, like, well, you know, what is this? What's going on? What is this about? And so the introductory, you know, it was cordial, you know, it was respectful, and it
had a relationship been established after that. You know what I mean?
Not so much so, because again, we was in and out of jail.
Yeah.
I would say this: a lot of our interaction with Hoovers is based on like through school or prison.
Right.
Some of it is through interaction with a lot of, you know, Slim's partners or whatever, through school, through YA and, you know, prison. Some of us, you know, not necessarily me, but different homies might be getting some money with them.
Yeah.
But not necessarily like a full-fledged on a day-to-day basis.
Right. Gotcha.
No, just more just like these is homies, you know, we gonna hang out, like they came to the community event, but nothing like on an everyday basis.
I got you. All right, so I want to hit Lucky with this same, you know, approach, man. Question: What was your experience, your first experience with a Hoover? Who was that, if you can recall?
I don't remember the direct like first individual.
Yeah,
but from first like being young and on Vermont. All the older homies that I'm around, like while we walking around through the hood on Niid every day and all that, walking up 131st with Big Papa Blue, he got the radio bumping. Who was outside? Those homies motherfucking nodding, talking to each other. So I'm soaking it up and was always talk, not, you know, direct verbally like, hey, these are homies. It was like a natural understanding since I was young, just based off, you know, who was in the hood and there's some gang stuff and we was interacting with each other like that. So then, like, pretty much once the jail thing started, whether it's from camp and YA, it's like once I ran into that, it was like a natural gravitation to kick it with each other. And you know, that's what we doing. Like, okay, these the homies and this where we at. That's without even saying so.
Right.
I know, hey, you want to be a part of this car. Now it wasn't nothing about that.
Right. It was just a natural gravity. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, y'all the homies. And this, you know, this what's going on from the time YA and going to prison since day one, pretty much.
Day one.
I mean, I did a lot of jail time, but I mean, all up in between there, that's what it's been. The relationship always been A1. It's like Voodoo, Little Frog.
Yeah.
Those like my childhood friends.
Yeah, you know Voodoo?
Yeah, those like my childhood friends. Little Frog, aka
Yeah.
Baby Ed from the church,
aka
Soul Snatcher. Those like my childhood friends and a whole bunch of other names, you know, throughout the other streets, you know, and the years are like coming up and being in jail.
Trade folks, 7-11, the Deuce and the Nine. You have been, you will be under the bridge.
But we ain't gang banging, this is about education. We trying to educate our youth right now, nigga. Hey. Said day is the best day. Skip walking across the floor in the best way. From Trey to the one way. It's a stump day. LA to the NY. Let this funk, you know, back in them days, it was love, loyalty, respect, and honesty. That's my nigga Gumby right there from the deuce. Ex-busters, hooks, and snitches put on pedestals and ventilators. Say lows on that Hoover shit. HIP, Tiny Moon, one of the hardest poets I ever heard connected with this star shit. Hey. Baby Jap and Jap 5, quick to set it off on the mic in the shack live.
When the shit get real and feel to the wheel, and then you will see sitting up in that motherfucker, looking at that light center, that death center.
Then they run into a witness stand, telling on their own homeboys.
Hoover stomp, like this, Hoover stomp.
I know trouble, I know how to start them BS, no trouble looking for me.
I'm a New York nigga in the Pacific Sun. I say West Side Hoover if you ask where I'm from. Province California runs, still infusing my lungs. All about my bread, I ain't leaving.
Understand the end game. What's your end game? What's your purpose?
Keep one in the head or I don't need a gun. I'm with Hawk on Hoover Street with a low rider's jump. Hopping down, figure out with a whole selling cunt.
You have been.
Like this, come second to none. Grooving like Scone Young, grooving like Booker Bone. I'm bad to the bone.